Good afternoon. We welcome the DSWD family and Acting Secretary Virginia Orogo. May we ask the ComSec to read into the record the presence of everyone here. Thank you. Charge of all the SLPs now. Yusek Malu. And who's in charge of Kalahi Seeds? Good. Okay. So later we'll talk about and who's in charge of Kalinga Caravans? Where is Yusek Isko? Campaign in Manila. Tell him I looked for him, He should be here. I will not approve your budget unless he's here. Can you ask him wherever he is to come here? Oh.
Glenn
okay. So Asik can explain it to me. And Cariño Brutal, just tell Isko to come here. I know he's running. Did he resign already? Not yet.
He gave initial.
Kaya wala na. That's okay. Sige. Where is, teka. No, there's the pending bill on the council. Anyway, sige. Just read into the record those, then I'll hear your budget. Thank you.
Good morning. Good afternoon. The Senate Committee on Finance would like to acknowledge the presence of our distinguished guests, namely Acting Secretary Virginia N. Orogo, Undersecretary Amy Neri, Undersecretary Luzminda Ilagan, Undersecretary Camilo Gudmalin, Undersecretary May Fe Ancheta Templa, Undersecretary Maria Lourdes Toral de Jarabe, Undersecretary Hope Hervilla, Assistant Secretary Glenda Relova, Assistant Secretary Rodolfo Santos, Assistant Secretary Jose Antonio Hernandez, Assistant Secretary Javier Jimenez, Assistant Secretary Noel Macalalad, Assistant Secretary Rhea Peñaflor, Deputy Executive Director Maricris Calipo Cabral, Executive Director Carmen Reyes Subiaga, Executive Director Bernadette B. Abejo. May I know if I was not able to mention other names? Assistant Secretary Carlo Florendo Castro. Thank you.
Thank you. Secretary Orogo, please. Thank you.
To the Chair of the Senate Committee on Finance, Senator Lauren B. Legarda, and other members of the committee, fellow workers in government, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of the Department of Social Welfare and Development, thank you for this opportunity to present the department's proposed budget for fiscal year 2019 based on the recently issued National Expenditure Program. In line with the long-term vision of the Duterte administration, the department direction is geared towards universal and transformative social protection, which will accelerate human capital development and reduce social structural vulnerabilities of individuals and families. The DSWD highlights its continuous commitment to implement integrated welfare and sustainable development programs, together with different stakeholders to empower the poor, the marginalized, disadvantaged, and vulnerable sectors of our society. In year 2017 to 2018, the department provided assistance to the victims of Mayon eruption, Boracay closure, Marawi siege, 5 victims of Hulo, NCR, and Zamboanga and typhoon flood victims. Provisions of unconditional cash transfer to 10 million poor. Provision of educational assistance to 260,000 indigent students. Medical assistance to about 624,000 individuals. 240,000 households were able to avail sustainable livelihood program that includes the Marawi siege and Boracay closure victims. With the support of Congress, the 2019 budget will enable us to continue delivering social welfare and social protection programs and services in line with the trust of President Duterte's administration. The DSWD way, serbisyong may kalinga at likas kayang pag-unlad. The department has already started various innovations such as streamlining of various processes like E-services for minors traveling abroad, and EMB Europay MasterCard's Visa, compliant cash card to 10 million UCT beneficiaries, which include beneficiaries from Pantawid, social pension, listahan ng identified household in partnership with Land Bank, bringing services closer to people through Kalinga Caravan, silungan sa barangay for street children and families, and improvement of existing centers and facilities. However, the department is not bereft of challenges. Currently, we are faced with risk of job insecurity for 12,000 contract workers who will be devoid of mandate to be rehired further after December 2018. Hopefully, we could solicit the unyielding support of Congress to afford more stable social protection for our workforce. The fiscal year 2019 proposed budget of DSWD, together with the DSWD attached agencies, we have the total DSWD proposed budget for 2019, including its attached agency, is 136,682 billion. However, it is worthy to mention that for the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program, the department presently needs a budget augmentation in the amount of 6,207,780,972 pesos only. This constitutes an actual deficiency in the provision of cash grants due to higher compliance and the higher number of health grants beneficiaries covered by the program, from 3 million to 4.4 million households, amounting to 30,943,070 in 2017, and an estimated budget deficit in the current year due to the continuing trend of a higher compliance rate, that is, from the budgeted compliance rate of 90% to an average of 95%, which is the same as the previous year. The DSWD 2019 proposed budget has been formulated on a cash-based appropriation regime, a fiscal reform of the national government aimed at accelerating government spending and promoting a disciplined management of budget. For the DSWD proper, the proposed budget for 2019 is 136,415 billion. This is lower by 7.04% from the previous year's approved budget. The increase in personal services can be attributed to the provision of 4th tranche salary adjustment based on Executive Order 201. Meanwhile, the decrease in MOEE can be attributed to actual cash utilization of the department in 2017. Our capital outlays proposed for procurement of information technology solution under our Information and Communication Technology Management Services, or ICTMS. Of the total 136.4 billion proposed budget of the department for 2019, 88% goes to grants on the implementation of programs and projects. Only 12% goes to administrative implementation costs that includes personal services, financial expenses, and capital outlay. Ladies and gentlemen, the top 11 major programs and projects of the department. We have a total of 29 programs, projects, activities under our 2019 proposed budget, but we will only highlight 11 programs. As may be observed in the table, there have been increases in the budget of most programs and projects. These are due to the implementation of cost-based budgeting in 2019 and non-recurring expenses previously budgeted in 2018. Number 1, for Pantawid Pamilya Pilipino program is proposing to continue to serve 4.4 million households with a budget of 88.1 billion. Of this number, 4,164,788 shall be covered by the regular conditional cash transfers, or CCT program, while 1,212 shall be covered by the Modified Conditional Cash Transfer or MCCT. Number 2, social pension for indigent senior citizen will increase 26% in the number of senior citizens who will receive social pension, bringing the total target to 3,796,791 beneficiaries. Total required allocation comes to 23.184 billion. Protective Services Program proposes a budget of 4.147 billion to serve 456,528 beneficiaries. Supplementary Feeding Program is proposing for 3.489 billion to provide hot meals to 1.8 million children in child development centers and supervised neighborhood plays. Number 5, pursuant to EO 867, the National Household Targeting System for Poverty Reduction is set to conduct third round nationwide household assessment, hence a budget of 2.9 billion pesos. Kalahi Seeds NCDDP is proposing an amount of 2.770 billion to ensure 369,675 household benefit from completed sub-projects. At present, the department is formulating a successful integrated development programs which aims to sustain and expand the current gains and community-driven development initiative towards building more resilient communities enjoying universal access to social protection programs and services. Number 7, Sustainable Livelihood Program is proposing an amount of 2.283 billion to assist 80,829 households. Number 8, Disaster Response and Rehabilitation Program is proposing a budget of 1.897 billion for the provision of cash forward program to 548,464 households for the implementation of climate change adaptation and mitigation. Number 9, DSWD centers and institutions are expected to serve 11,733 clients with a budget of 1.748 billion. Number 10, tax reform cash transfer projects expected to serve 10 million poor beneficiaries. The proposed budget amounts to 1.080 billion to cover the administrative costs to support the implementation of the program. It may be noted that project funds for the cash grants and financial expenses amounting to 36.488 billion is lodged at the Land Bank of the Philippines. Number 11, provision of technical, advisory, assistance, and related services is proposing a budget amounting to 970,526 million to provide technical assistance and resource augmentation to 85 to 100% local government units under the TARA plan. For the tax agencies, we have for CWC for 2019, we propose 68,446,000, which is a decrease of 27.86% from 2018 budget. For the Inter-Country Adoption Board, we propose for 2019 53,345,000, which is 2.90% decrease from previous 2018 budget, which is 54,941,000. For NCDA, we propose for 2019 54,488,000, which is a decrease of 0.016% from the previous 2018 budget, which is 54,497,000. And for JJWC, we have 19,566,000, which is 57.51% decrease from 213,183,000. Towards achieving a more inclusive and facilitative social service delivery system for our marginalized, disadvantaged, and vulnerable population, the sole strength of the SWD as an organization that amply carries the mandate of the President will never be sufficient without the support of our colleague in the legislature. It is upon this premise that we seek to reinforce our commitment to help our poor and disadvantaged children, women victims, solo parents, indigent senior citizens, persons with disabilities, and families in crisis situations. It is through you that we continue to uphold our mission and persist in reinventing our passion for helping our poor people with robust mind and kind heart, fully knowing that you are one with us and that your heart belongs to the Filipino people. Tunay na serbisyong may kalinga at pagmamahal. Likas kayang pag-unlad, ito ang DSWD. Ito po ang ating gobyernong may pagmamahal at kalinga sa mahihirap sa pamumuno ni Presidente Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much. May you state on the record, please, Secretary Orogo, the issue of the December 2017 issue on the recipients of the Pantawid. How many families? How much is the budget needed? The reason why there was no budgetary allocation, and your proposed solution and action that you did, and the response of the agency involved. Thank you. Proceed with your budget.
Ito lang ba yan? 6 billion ito eh.
Opo, yung kabuuan yan, 27 and 28 yun.
Okay, I am reading the total budget, the deficiency for 2017 and 2018 budget.
Yung ano lang po, yung December 2017 lang na pinag-usapan natin.
For December 2017, we have 3,930,943,070 in 2017, an estimated budget deficit in the current year due 3.9 billion
3.9 billion for the 1 month.
for December 2017. We owe the Pantawid beneficiaries
Why
this
did you
much.
mention 4.2B in my room earlier?
6.2 billion is for 2018 and 2017.
Can we just deal with the 2017 December need? Yun na muna. Is
Sige.
it 3.9?
3.9.
3.9, okay.
3.9 billion.
May we know the reason why it was not funded and the proposed solution?
May I ask
No,
our...
that was before your time. So
Yeah.
who can answer that, please?
Yeah, maybe I can ask our Undersecretary Milo Goodmanin or our Director Leo Reynoso.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair.
Para mas maliwanag.
The Department of Budget and Management usually provides budget for Pantawid Pamilya equivalent only to 90% of our requirements. So that is only equivalent to about 4 million out of 4.4 that is fully funded. In 2017, Madam Chair, that was the time when we started our rice subsidy program. And since the budget that was given to our Pantawid is only 90%, the compliance rate of our Pantawid Pamilya rose from 90% to 97-98% in last year. Because of the high compliance rates, we were not able to, no, we encountered a deficit in our budget, and that amount
Excuse
to...
me. You mean we, in Congress, took away from your existing budget for the 4P families to give it for the rice allowance? I
No,
don't think
no,
we
ma'am.
would do that. It
Not-
was not
not-
because of the rice allowance. That was over and above your 4-piece budget.
That's right,
So we
ma'am.
should not blame the rice allowance.
No, the rice allowance increases the compliance rates of our beneficiaries.
Okay. Increase the compliance rate.
That's right,
Okay,
ma'am.
kala ko yung kakulungan ng budget.
No, hindi, ma'am.
Okay, kaya nainganyo sila.
Kaya nainganyo sila, ma'am. So, since our budget is only pegged at 90%, at nag-97, 98% yung
From
compliance,
the
na-sure
beginning
tayo.
of the 4-piece, you were never given a full budget.
Since 2008, ma'am, we are only given 90% of our budget.
That's the traditional record. It's never been 95, 98.
Only in 2019, ma'am, that DBM agrees to increase our allocations to 95%.
2019 net.
For this year, for next year.
2019 net for 95% projected compliance.
That's-
But the compliance was 98%.
That's
So
right,
that's still
ma'am.
going to be short.
Short.
Yeah. So mali pa rin. Oh, we want to know the problem and we'll propose.
So that's the situations, and we propose to the DBM, no, to include in our net the inclusion of this deficit, but it was considered in the tier 2, and when the NEP was finalized, all tier 2 proposal was not considered.
Para po maliwanag, December 2017, 3.9 billion. Ilang pamilya po?
2 million families, Madam Chair.
Ano po ang impact sa 2 million families na hindi nabigyan ng isang buwan ng magkano yan, more or less? Less than 2,000, no?
That's about 1.4, 1,400, Madam
Maliban
Chair.
sa rice allowance.
Maliban sa rice allowance.
1,000.
That's right.
Oo. Okay, so 2,400. Mga
Oh.
2,000, more or less.
Yeah, for 1 month lang siya.
For
Madam
1
Chair,
month.
Yeah, for the month of December.
Mararamdaman ba yun ng mahirap na pamilya or hindi?
Malaking bagay yun, Madam Chair. Yung 1,400.
Ano nangyari sa kanila?
So,
No, I want to know, those on the ground.
well, until...
Ano ang nangyari? Anong naramdaman? Umutang ba? Nabaon sa utang? Di nakapag-aral? Meron nagkasakit na hindi... ano ang nangyari kaya? Oo, na hindi natin naibigay ang dapat ibigay.
Napuno kami ng grievance, Madam Chair. Yeah, sa 888 sila.
Ang marami ang 2 milyong pamilyang yan. Pag buklod-buklod ng 2 pamilyang revolusyon yan, di ba? 2 million times 5. Oh, 10 milyon tao yan. That's 1/10 of our population na hindi mo binigyan ng benepisyo ng isang buwan. Tama? Saan po concentrated yung 2 million families?
Ito lahat yun, Madam Chairs, yung tumatanggap ng yung mode of payment
Saang
nila.
region po ang marami?
Halos buong
Lahat.
Pilipinas ito, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Kasi
Ano yung sinasangga ang galit?
yan na nga, ma'am. Sinasabi namin, Madam Chair, that we are bringing this issue to the DBM.
Akong dinadahilan nyo.
Hindi. Sa
Hindi
DBM.
ako dinadahilan nyo, ha?
Sa DBM. Oo.
Ako savior.
Oo.
Oh, kung alam ko hindi mangyayari yan. Oh, sige.
Oh.
Yung dati nyong nakaupo, hindi bago naman mga nakaupo ngayon. Dapat tinasabi nyo kasi.
We were advised before, Madam Chair, that because of the amount, we need to ask for a supplementary appropriation.
It's wrong planning. First of all, hindi ba ng sobra, huwag magkulang. Hindi pwedeng, hindi namin akalain eh. That's so Filipino. Hindi namin, mali. Maling planning. Kaninong panahon ba yun? But not to pin the blame anymore. Senator JV. JV? Yes, hi. Vice Chair ng Health. Yon. Kulang tayo ng 3.9 billion sa ilang pamilya? 2 milyong pamilya, mga 10 milyong Pilipino na hindi nabigyan ng isang buwang 2,000 pesos, sabihin mo na. Okay. Ano po ang inyong proposed solution? Yan. So, problema ng panahon nyo, susolusyonan dapat at problema ng bago nakaupo. Ayan. Kaya masarap ang trabaho nyo. Sige, ano po ang mamumungkahin yung solusyon na dedesisyonan ng aking Vice Chair?
So, yes. So right now, what we're doing is yung complaint nila sa lahat ng iba't ibang rehiyon po ay meron namang family development session na ginaganap. So we tried to explain, medyo wala pa yung budget, etc.
Maski anong ipaliwanag
we know, but
unless we give it to them. So our solution should be ibigay.
so hinihingi po namin ito sa, actually we request DBM, and then we're also requesting the kind heart of the lawmakers. Ayan. So kung kayang ibigay, supplemental budget namin yung 3.9 billion.
Ko napapahabain ang gusto ko lang I just wanted to put on record the problem. And I just wanted to tell the agency and all agencies that's really wrong planning. With all due respect to the DSWD, whoever planned it, we do not plan for a projected compliance and hindi na foresee for whatever reason that there will be more compliance. It should have been foreseen that because of the rights allowance, there would be more compliance. In fact, we want more compliance so we can help more poor. But again, not to pin the blame of those who have been there or are still there and those who have been there but left. We have a solution. I will put it in your in the unprogrammed fund. We will put 3.9 billion. Wag lang mavito ni Presidente. Huh?
2017 lang na requirement.
Yeah, you sure it's legally allowed? Remember, this is parang payable, no? Accounts payable. It will appear as it will be accounts payable. Because, you know, it is accounts payable. Diba? So you have to help me here, Senator JV. Hindi dapat ipagkait sa mahirap na siyang nag-comply. What's the sa Tagalog? Englishin ko na. Na sumunod sa patakaran dahil hindi na-anticipate ng mga leader ay hindi linagay. Hindi balik kung walang pera ang gobyerno. Ako ilang taon na nakaupo dito, ang dami-daming pera. Nasasayang, hindi ginagastos, ang bababa ng ahensya gumastos para sa tao, sinusuri ang pera sa huling buwan ng taon, tapos ang mga hirap na 2,000 piso ay napakalaking bagay sa kanila, ay ipapagkait. Kaya ipapaglaban ko na ang 10 milyong pamilya tao, at 2 milyong pamilyang ito na 2.4 or 2,400 more or less ang kanilang pangangailangan, including rights allowance ba to? No. They receive the rights allowance. Kaya hindi ganun kasakit kasi yung dating 2, may 1 na dagdag, parang 1. Pero still, it's unfair. Whatever we owe the people, we give to the people. And so, the only legal way I can find now, because I tried the supplemental budget, but DBM did not seem to agree, would be to put it in your unprogrammed fund as a accounts payable. You just help me, and you please give another memo to OP so that they don't budget it. I mean, they don't veto that part of the budget. And an unprogrammed fund will be dependent on collection. So make sure everybody pays taxes. So it will be funded for sure. So that is what we will tell the beneficiaries, nakalagay sa unprogrammed bilang accounts payable. Hindi kasalanan ng Chair ng Finansa, hindi kasalanan ng Senado, hindi hiningi ng Executive, right? Hiningi ba nyo sa amin?
Ang proper term
Yeah, actually,
allocation. Pero may tanong mo lang tayo, parang pwede niyang gamitin natin.
Sandali. 1 minute. Oo. Sige po. So, ilalagay po natin sa unprogrammed fund, 3.9 billion. Please assure me that once the unprogrammed is funded, it will go up to the last million, up to the last family, to the family that did not receive in December of 2017. Walang kulang, walang sobra ang sukat. Hindi po magkakadoble ang pamilya dahil may naglabi na politiko. Hindi po mababawasan ang ibibigay sa pamilyang hindi nakatanggap. Up to the last family. Please assure me, it will be my accountability. So, I am informed it will be called unbooked obligation, not accounts payable. Sila nang bahala sa terms na yun, but it will be in the unprogrammed fund for 3.9 billion. Now, let's make sure, please, that we put a projection of compliance that's accurate. And when the DBM cuts it, you have to fight for it and say that hindi mabibigyan itong amount na ito sa itong pamilyang to. Dapat ipaglaban yung hindi pwedeng maulila ang tulong ng isang buwan sa ilang milyong pamilya. You have to fight for it and explain because sometimes maybe ang kausap nyo doon hindi naman yung nagagastos hindi nila naintindihan. Anyway, so that's a solution. Having said that, so I'll repeat, December 2017, there was higher compliance because of the rice allowance, approximately 2 million families or 10 million individuals, more or less. 3.9 billion will be in the 2019 unprogrammed fund as unbooked obligations, and it will go to those who were not given their dues in December 2017, not for another program, not for other families. May I know, therefore, magkano po ang inyong unclaimed CCT to date, if any? Sino po ang admin and finance?
May I call our
30,
FMS?
August, or?
May I call our FMS for Pantawid?
Pantawid po. How much?
Yusek Milo, I think, can answer that.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Chair.
as of September 30, 2018, we have 46,905 accounts, non-moving, amounting to 410,615,533 pesos.
When you say these are non-moving, they've been unclaimed. For how long, sir?
This is unclaimed for 6 months and above, Madam Chair.
What would be the explanation for the unclaimed CCT?
There are several reasons, but most of the cases are that these are cash cards that are lost or damaged that are still under process by the Land Bank for replacements.
Does not, and in the previous year, they were claimed?
Yes.
Or they've been unclaimed because of whichever reason, wrong, wala palang ganong pamilya, ghost families, wrong documentation, o lumipat na?
All of these, Madam Chairs, are real, authentic beneficiaries of Pantawid Pamilya. Prior to the damage of the card or the loss of these cards, these are all outstanding cards, Madam Chair.
Paano po nabuhay yung pamilyang yon na 6 na buwan hindi nakakuha, 400 million worth?
Kaya nga, Madam Chair, they keep on following up with us to our office and to the Land Bank for the replacement of these lost cards.
There's no 1.5 billion non-moving, it's only 400. Baka po yung headline ng isang broadsheet, 1.5.
In December of 2017, Madam, there was a COA observations that there are 1.8 million accounts amounting to 1.3 billion pesos that they considered as non-moving accounts. Yeah, but we have the same document as that of the COA. It is based on the aging of accounts issued by the Land Bank of the Philippines, and we examined the figures, and we found out that the parameter being used by COA to determine a non-moving account is that, number one, it has a balance in that card of 500 pesos, and it has not been moving for 30 days and above. 30 days and above. So we said, ma'am, that the card is reasonably active as far as DSW is concerned, if it is not moving for a period of not less than 6 months. Kasi yung magpa-replace from over-the-counter payments to cash cards, it will take about 6 months ang processing niya, opening of the accounts and then the issuance of the cash cards. So when the household transferred from mode of payment OTC to cash cards, it will take that amount of time to be able to process that.
Just to summarize, sir, the 1.8 billion or 1.5 billion headline is not totally accurate.
That's right,
Ang
Madam
talaga
Chair.
po ay yung 400 million.
That's right.
Pero yung 400 million po ay aasahan pa rin po ng mga pamilya. Hindi pa pwedeng gamitin sa ibang bagay.
That's right, Madam Chair. Based on our validations, when we sent our people in
Ilang
the
taon na
field
ba yung
to...
400? This year lang yun, di ba? 6 months.
Yes.
Non-moving lang 6 months. Because of the cash cards. 1 minute suspension. So, are you confident you'll be able to use the 400?
Yes, Madam Chair. Ang kailangan lang dito is maibalik sa kanila yung nawawalang mga cash cards, and then they can withdraw the amount.
Kailan po natin nalaman yung problema if it's a 6-month problem? Is it really that difficult to accomplish this task? Nawawala yung cash card. We have implementers down on the ground. Why does it take 6 months?
For replacement ito, Madam Chair,
Take 6 months to replace a card.
It's now with the Land Bank and
Bank.
Land Bank, ma'am.
It's beyond you.
Yeah, kasi nung una, ma'am, lahat ng mga replacement ng cards is centralized. Dito lahat
Sino
sa...
po sa land bank, sir? Could I ask you,
Milo, ma'am, Milo. Ma'am,
maaring hindi po nyo mabigay yung pangalan sa land bank, pwede nyong tawagan po ang pinakamataas na officer ng land bank na may deadline po sila na gawin yung 6 na buwan ng nakapending. Hanggang sa Biyernes, kailangan tapusin nila kasi hindi ma-approve ang budget nyo kung hindi yan ma-replace. Kasi we're not saying these are ghosts. We're not saying they are not poor. We're not saying nagkamali. We're saying Land Bank has not replaced the lost cards o sirang card. Come on, the poor are poor and we need urgent action to serve the poor. So, can you please tell whoever you're talking to in Land Bank, and if you can, while we're talking here, find out his name, her name, who's in charge. I can even call the Land Bank president, and you can go at the back and call them, and they can promise to print it. They've given them 5 days. And you'll tell them because ang budget nyo nakasalalay sa kanilang compliance. Na hindi sila nakakatuwa. Sige po. Yes, while I'm asking them at other things, you can probably call them so that we solve that. So first, we provide the 3.9 unprogrammed. Second, you will implement the 400 based 400, right? Okay. Based on the land bank compliance with the missing cards. But these are not missing beneficiaries, right? They're there. Okay. Pangalawa po, may binigay kami sa inyong pondong 2 billion piso that was never given in past years for capital outlay for your centers. As of September 21, you still have remaining 1.638 billion. This was an amendment of Senator Binay, 1 billion, and 1 billion was my amendment. May I know? The report states only 412 million as of September 21 has been obligated. We're not even sure whether it's been implemented. So what is the answer? Sayang po eh.
As of September 27, ma'am, we have already obligated 726,852,000 of the 2 billion. 85% of the 209 projects for constructions of our residential care facilities, we completed the procurements, and by next month, all the works will start of this 85% that we have already procured. The remaining numbers are subject to reprocurement because of failed biddings, but all have already been started, Madam Chair.
85%, I don't understand. That's 2 billion, but it's only 412 as of September 21. But as of September 27, you said 700.
726
Paano po
million.
magiging 85% po yun ng
Hindi-
2B?
Hindi pa na fully obligated yung natapos namin na procure, Madam Chair.
Kung yung 700, you still have 1.3.
Yeah.
Yes. When will the 1.3 be obligated?
By next month, within this month, October,
Whole 2B.
the whole 2B.
Okay. So when your budget goes to the floor in November, it would have been fully obligated.
Yes, Madam
You
Chair.
promise me.
Yes.
Because they will ask me that.
Yeah,
Yes. And those are centers that have been needing help, no?
that's right,
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Okay. That answers the question of Senator Binay, who cannot be here today because she has another hearing on the maternity leave BICAM. Okay. Can you please explain to us the Kalahi Seeds SLP convergence program? And just so that we see how it works together and where it's being implemented, in which district, which province, and how much has been allocated in 2018 and its obligation rate, and in your proposed budget for next year.
So, Madam Chair, may I ask Yusek Maluturalde to present to you the actual budget utilization, and maybe I will include the successor program of Kalahi, since Kalahi Seeds is to end this year, 2019. So,
If it ends this year.
yeah, external funding that will end. But we will have to propose a successor program, and that
Okay.
is what I'm going to explain. But maybe to give us a bird's eye view of the accomplishment of Kalahi and SLP, Yusek Turalde can give us the elaboration of this one. Thank you.
Yes,
What do
Secretary.
you call it? Ang hirap kasi sabihin, ang haba. Kalahi Seed Sustainable Livelihood Program. Ano bang maganda? Anong tawag natin dyan?
Thank you, Secretary G and Madam Chair. Maybe just for the purpose of distinction between the two programs, one is Sustainable Livelihood Program as one program, and the other is Kalahi Seeds NCDDP. Okay, okay, anyway, there are two programs, Madam Chair. The first
Ano
one,
yung dalawang programa,
And how they
pagsagan
coincide.
natin ng isang magandang pangalan, yung convergence nung dalawang yon. Sige
yes,
po. Okay.
but for the purpose of this discussion, Madam Chair, to explain one and then followed by the other.
We recognize Senator Grace Poe.
May I proceed, ma'am? Okay. Sustainable Livelihood Program. Oh, okay, we begin first with Kalahi Seeds, no? Kalahi Seeds is the department's way of instituting community-driven development as a strategy for development. So hence the unit here is the community. Currently, it is being implemented in 15 regions, in 847 municipalities. Okay. So it has several sub-projects under it. So these are very varied, from cemented footpaths to the evacuation centers, to daycare centers, to water systems. All of these community infrastructure projects, all of these are small-scale community infrastructure projects. Now, regarding Sustainable Livelihood Program, so it's basically a capacity building program that intends to afford households, individuals and households to have one, employable skills, or to have an opportunity to have enterprises developed. So these are small-scale enterprises, Madam Chair. So that is basically how you distinguish the two programs.
Can you go back to the Kalahi?
Yes. Yes, the forerunner in my based on the records.
You redefined it already because when did you start this? 98? 2001?
No, the forerunner of the Kalahi Seeds is SEEDS, the Community
SEEDS, yeah.
Integrated Development.
PRR nun eh.
Wala pa ho. But
This was redefined eh.
Yes, this is redefined, and SEEDS was started by then President Ramos, SRA, and then eventually SEEDS. But basically, the Kalahi Seeds we have today now is has evolved tremendously. In fact, it already upscaled. So it was after, I guess Yusek Milo will be able to assist me here, but it has upscaled, especially after Yolanda, after that super typhoon that hit.
Is it implemented by the community?
Yes, Madam
with
Chair.
assistance from the region?
Yes, Madam
But
Chair.
the funds are downloaded to the LGU, no? It's
It's the region. So there are two modes. Basically, one is through community forest account. So it's basically the communities implementing the program. The other is, of course, through it's being implemented in Pamana areas where it's being downloaded to the local government units. But definitely, there's the participation of the communities are very much encouraged.
So the funds are not given to the mayors?
Madam
No,
Chair.
not to the provincial governors, no.
No, ma'am.
From the region, it's implemented by the local communities, not necessarily the LGU. And the funds come from central, regional, and then to the communities. Okay. So the possible misuse.
It's very. Should there be? It's based on experience. It could, it could happen during procurement, but it's very, very small, very negligible.
Give us one highly successful Kalahi Seeds program that you're familiar with.
There are many to mention, actually, ma'am. Okay. So this is an how do you call that? So these are how do you call that? The hanging bridges, ma'am. Okay. So it's basically affording the community to be able to go to a nearby school, or which they could otherwise not access because of, they're separated by a river, or a road network that extends from 3 barangays, pulling together their resources. I think that's one successful project we can think of. Evacuation centers. There are a lot of evacuation centers, which to this day communities would even say, because I've seen for myself, that there's one there's a daycare facility constructed through Kalahi, and there's another health facility constructed by DPWH. And when a maliit na earthquake happened, yung health facility constructed by, the DPWH, medyo may crack, as opposed to this Kalahi constructed daycare center, which has which standing for
Sino ang nagpapatupad niyan?
community po.
Sila ang nagpo-procure?
Sila po ang nagpo-procure. Pwede rin silang magtulong-tulong, magbayanihan para i-construct yung facility. So makikita po yung diferensya kasi it's in their best interest that
Mas mura.
Mas mura po.
At they will not fool themselves.
They will not.
Steal from themselves. And nagbabantayan.
Yes, ma'am.
And they want to make it a good quality one.
Yes, ma'am.
Because sila namang mapapahamak.
Yes. Just to demonstrate po, ma'am, in one area in the Bicol region I've gone to, ano sila, sitting side by side, no, the Kalahi daycare center and the health facility, okay? So the daycare center na ginawa po through Kalahi only costs siguro 850 pesos, ay 850,000 pesos, as opposed to this health facility na 1.2 million yung ginamit po for the construction. So makikita yung di sa east yung yung hollow blocks, makakapal yung kabilya, samantalang yung kabila parang D4 lang ata po yung size ng mga.
When you say local communities, should they be organized into a cooperative association registered? Because hindi naman kaya lahat, lalo na sa bundok, paano yung mag-oorganisa?
Okay, while the project is ongoing, pina-form po nila yung tinatawag na BSPMC. Sorry for that acronym, but it's a Barangay Sub-Project Management Committee. So once the project is finished, so tapos na yung BSPMC, but there's another group created which is called an ONM group. So Operations and Maintenance Group. So to ensure that the facilities constructed are in good condition, Madam Chair. Okay, so this, they may not, or by the very nature of the project, no, they need not be organized into a cooperative just for the specific purpose. No, so they have to ensure that the project is constructed, and once it's constructed, ma-maintain yung integrity ng
Sa
facility.
region downloaded into the community, if it's not a cooperative with a bank account, sino ang accountable person sa community?
Meron pong pinubuksang account, no, with the land bank. So ito po ay doon po dina-download ng region yung pondo. At
The community, even if not formally organized, will have a designated person who will open an account.
it's ma'am, basically it's a hybrid arrangement. So the barangay treasurer, no, acts as yeah. Okay, so in relation to the community account, the barangay treasurer is there, the BSPMC chair, and the area coordinator who is coming from the DSWD, Madam Chair.
The long menu of Kalahi Seeds projects, ano ang pinakakailangan ng tao? Barangay hall, water system, footbridge, health station.
Yes, ma'am, it depends, no? But basically, how you formulate the plan is that there's an inter-barangay forum where the people participate, where the people are able to prioritize. So, doon po, ang nangyayari, ang binibigay po kasi natin ay municipal block grant. So, it's for the entire municipality, and all the barangays covered in that area have to participate in an assembly, in the discussion, no? So there's a participatory social analysis of problems. The identification of possible solutions are presented as well. So I think it's a very participatory process, Madam Chair.
How much is the usual downloading of funds for a barangay project?
Well, for the municipality, it usually is around 20 million in block grants.
A municipality.
For a municipality, then they will have to prioritize, no, based on the identified projects, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Please.
Okay.
What's really the problem with SLP? It's such a good program, but it takes forever to utilize it. What's your problem?
Okay.
In other agencies, DOLE, they're very efficient. DOLE tupad, that's different, that cash for work, no? Pero meron din, yung DOLE kabuhayan, may problema din. Bakit ganun tayo? Yung DOST na CEST, ganun din. Basta livelihood program, pinapahirapan ng gobyerno ang beneficiaryo. Procurement law, COA, ano ba? So, DOST CEST. Ano pa? DTI SSF, DSWD SLP, Dole Pangkabuhayan, forever na nasira na ang tsinelas ng mamang pupunta sa kanyang permits, lahat piniikot-ikot sila hanggang ayaw na nila mag-apply. Bakit tayo ganun? May problema tayo sa gobyerno, pinapahirapan ng tao.
Chair, with your indulgence, yes. Well, before joining the department, I came from the private sector, so things are a bit faster. But I think we have to appreciate the issue a bit deeper. So, if with your indulgence, Madam Chair, maybe I can, as I give the picture, present some milestones and some problematic areas. I can see two. One is substantive and the other is procedural. Let me begin with the substantive. As I mentioned earlier, the Sustainable Livelihood Program is a capacity building program. Okay, so it is not essentially an economic development program, but rather through the program we aim that for these families, for these pantawid families basically, that they are afforded chances to have employable skills and for them to set up enterprises. Yes, and since these are very poor families, you can just imagine how they transition. So it takes a bit of time. And since we want the program intends, for them to be successful, then you certainly have to invest in social preparation. That takes long. But let me just tell you though, that based on the experience of the department, when it was still self-employment assistance kaunlaran, SEAK, it was easier because after all, these organizations created were not, did not necessitate an accreditation. Okay, so that's one angle we have to look into. So, by 2016, the GAA of 2016 stipulated that for all CSOs, whether beneficiary or implementing CSOs, to be accredited. And because of that, the accreditation process, which was launched under the DSWD, had to enforce the accreditation process. So medyo nagkaroon po ng bottleneck doon. So and since the challenges parang became cumulative. Okay? So nagkaroon na po ng problema sa down the line, paano ka mag-o-obligate, paano ka gagawa ng proposal. Of course, naranasan na po yung mga procedural concerns or challenges na iyon. So ano naman po yung naging hakbang ng department? In 2017, ito po ay nailagay na sa GAA that instead of the usual centralized accreditation for those agencies downloading money or funds to groups, ang ginawa na po ay dinecentralize na. So kung sino yung ahensyang magbibigay, kung kanina mang organization, sila yung may accreditation. So ang ginawa po sa DSWD, dinecentralize. So ang mga regional offices na po yung nagsasagawa ng accreditation. But again, of course, may learning curve na naman po iyan. So kailangan ma-acclimatize ka doon sa process. Number one. Number two, doon po sa various modalities of the program, may isa po kaming kinaharap yung tinatawag na cash assistance payroll or CAP. Ito po yung ginagamit ng tupad, ng iba pang ahensya na meron ka lang listahan at nagdi-disperse ka.
It has its own tupad. The cash assistance program?
Yes po. But then again, kailangan i-tighten yung procedures kasi po, sabihin na natin merong mga creative na mga staff on the ground, so nagamit po.
You're being so kind and diplomatic.
Yes, so we have to address that concern. So, in as much as we want to fast track the implementation, I think for the most part, we have to be very concerned about, after all, this is people's money, and we have to ensure that the people's money goes to where it should be. So we have to institute some safeguards. So nakadagdag din po iyon sa ilang pagbabago.
Why is tupad efficiently run and why can't we do the SWD CAP like tupad? Or meron ba rin corruption issues in Tupad? I don't know.
I do not know, but basically we have to distinguish between the two. Sustainable livelihood is basically a capacity building program.
Not comparing SLP with Tupad. Our CAP, Cash Assistance Program, which is similar to Tupad, what's the difference?
Cash assistance, of course, it is being conducted given a certain situation. Let's say, just in the recent Boracay closure, so one of the things that the department did was to provide cash assistance through the cash for work. So, yun po yung mabilis po iyon. Kasi maglilinis
Like how many
ka,
days
10 days po, ma'am.
10 days.
But of course, maglilinis ka lang ng, you will just dredge the canal, maglinis ka ng paligid. That's basically the nature of the cash the cash for work.
Which is similar to Tupad, ganon.
Which is similar to Tupad, as opposed to SLP, which
talagang may...
Apo, so,
I'm not comparing that.
yes.
It's really the cash for work of DSWD and the cash for work of DOLE. I want to know the difference, if any. So, the names, hayaan mo na yung names. Pareho ba ang cash? Kasi pareho yan pera ng taong bayan. Parehong government departments. Parehong cash for work. Forget the names. CAP, Tupad. Tabi mo na, cash for work. Ano ang diferensya ng dalawa sa requirements, sa beneficiaries, sa pagpatupad? Ano ang diferensya? Yeah, I want to understand. Yes.
Madam Chair, can I answer? I think what Tupad is catering to the workers that lose their job for a certain event like disaster or unemployment, things like that. But for DSWD, we cater to the, of course, the poorest of the poor, the identified indigent people that we train, and then we give them initially, like for example, those victims of Boracay that who were displaced, no. So we give them initial cash assistance for them to engage in any business that they know that they have been engaged before the closure of the Boracay, no.
Yes, it's clear that your target beneficiaries are different. My only question is, if it's both cash for work, why is Tupad seemingly faster? What are the requirements of DOLE that are not present in DSWD or vice versa? Never mind if the beneficiary, I just want to understand. Wherever I go, people mention DOLE Tupad. I hardly hear DSWD cash assistance. Or maybe it's branding, I'm not sure. O kasing bilis ba ng DSWD ang DOLE?
Madam Chair, yung kasing nangyari, yung Tupad kasi is like a livelihood, they compare it to livelihood. And we have also the SLP, which is, sabi nga nila, is mabagal because we have the requirements done, no, before we give out the money, which is only 15 to 20,000 pesos. Yung Tupad naman kasi, pareho rin yan ng cash for work namin, mabilis lang po yan. We immediately release the money upon the submission of our regional offices and the submission of the LGUs to our regional office, no. So ganun din na lang, mabilis din po yung cash for work namin. And we also have the food for work, no. Kung wala nang kung yung isang pamilya gusto niya mas food for work, we give them food for work and then cash for work.
I am probably misinformed, and I hope I am wrong in thinking that the cash for work of other government departments, including the SWD, is different or slower than DOLE Tupad. It's just that I hear DOLE Tupad from everywhere, and I don't hear the cash for work of the SWD or other agencies to be as efficient as DOLE Tupad. Everywhere, they ask DOLE Tupad, DOLE Tupad. It seems like, for example, if I were in an LGU in a province and I submit X number of names to the regional director, how long will it take for implementation? 30 days?
Yung cash for work, madali lang yan. For example, when the Boracay closure was, it started, no? Immediately after, ayan, asan si Yusek Hope? Yusek Hope? Yusek Hope was the one in charge of our cash for work in all of the disaster areas. So, I don't think matagal yung aming but for Boracay alone, a total of 17,591 clients were provided with assistance, no, amounting to 42,726. This is 42,726,847.
So 42 million for 17,000 clients in 3 barangays in one island.
Yes.
Okay. This was not in your 2018 GAA. Where did you get the money? Because Boracay closure happened within the year after your budget was passed.
May I, Secretary?
You took Hope there already, so you can. Thank you.
It was taken from our quick response fund because we can utilize the quick response fund from disaster that happened in the year and the previous quarter of the year. So cash for work, relief assistance, emergency shelter assistance are taken from the quick response fund.
So kaya pala, mabilis. From the time that Boracay was closed, how long did it take, did you give, before you gave the 17,000 clients? Ilang araw o linggo?
Yeah, it was immediate. After the closure, we have already given the assistance to individual in crisis situation. We formulated the guideline for the cash work. It's around 1 month period. Yeah.
Mabilis na yung 1 month?
Yeah, mabilis na yun.
Okay, so kaya pala.
Yeah, kaya. And then the DBM would replenish our quick response fund. Yeah.
Kasi si Presidente eh.
Yeah.
Kasi talagang naging priority, isara yan, bigyan ng tulong ang mga tao. So what I'm saying, pag may political will, kasi pare-pareho na yung cash for work eh. Kaya lang, takot lahat. Pag si Presidente nagsabi, isarado, wag maghirap ang tao, may pera ang gobyerno, ibigay nyo. Takot lahat, kayo, tayo, di ba? So galaw. So bakit ang Boracay ganyan? Bakit sa ibang lugar hindi ganyan? Yun na ang ibig ko sabihin. Kaya eh. May pondo. Kaya palang gamitin ng QRF eh. Bakit sa ibang bagay hindi kayang gawin ng QRF? Ang cash for work minsan mabagal, pero dahil nakatutok, si Sec Anyo, si Sec Simato, si Sec Villar, si Presidente nanonood sa nangyari sa Boracay, hanap ng panaan. Kaya. So, the Boracay experience will show that we can be fast and efficient in serving the poorest of the poor. That there should be no gap in closure and implementation of cash for work projects. That's all, yun ang puntos ko. Actually, I knew the answer. I just wanted to put it on record that kung gugustuhin natin at may takot, yung mabuting takot ha, takot mapagalitan, takot respeto, takot urgent. Maybe not takot, it's more of urgency. We can do it. So, can we please, everybody, be like that? The Boracay experience can prove we can do it there. That's only for cash for work. Now, SLP, I don't know how we can speed up because even other agencies, their livelihood programs, micro enterprises are very, very slow.
Yeah, Madam Chair, can I add?
Yes, Secretary, and then Yusek Hope.
With regards to siguro yung bilis ng pagkilos at pagtugon, like for example, when the landslide in Itogon in the city of Naga, I think our regional directors responded immediately. That very day, naglabas po kami agad ng 25,000 pesos per families na namatayan and 5,000 cash mabilis. That very day din po. And then yung iba lang kasi matagal namin na ilalabas yung pera because hindi mapangalanan yung nakukuhang biktima.
Under what program is this? The 25,000?
Still under QRF.
It was with the assistance to individual crisis situation. So we can give outright 75,000 for the assistance to individual. Though the quick response fund, immediately we can release the food and non-food items. At the same time, the cash for work. For the emergency shelter assistance, we have to receive the list of the local government units for the beneficiaries, and then we can download the cash.
How about the Cebu landslide?
We did the
Also.
same, City
So
of Naga.
Itogon.
Yeah, Itogon and
So,
City of Naga.
Boracay, Itogon, and Cebu
And-
would approve.
And even the Hulo fire of 5,000 families,
Yes.
that very day when we went there, nagbigay din agad kami po.
Because again, I've received so many I don't know, comments that the QRF is not quick after all, but it can be quick.
Yeah, we
gusto
had
yan.
it in
Yeah.
Legazpi for the Mayuan. We immediately provided the the cash for work. So it's a matter of how fast the local government and the field offices, as well as the guidelines, because we have to see to it that the guidelines for COA purposes, at the same time the local government units validation and certification, of course.
My colleagues, Senator Grace and Senator JV, can ask. The only reason why I keep on asking, and this is because you've not manifested, but you can ask anytime, huh? I mean, I don't want...
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just like to ask, no, siguro si Secretary Orogo or anybody can answer, because especially with the train in effect, we have UCT that has to be given. Considering that the the inflation rate now is 6.4%, do you think the 200 UCT is enough for the poor to adapt to the high prices of basic commodities?
Sa totoo lang po, Senator, Madam Chair, sa totoo lang po, Senator, yung 200 pesos is hindi ayos at hindi tama sa kanila. Kaya lang, malaking bagay po yung binibigay natin na pag one-time, big time po natin, about 2,400 ngayon, dahil sa kasalukuyang mahal ang lahat ng bilihin. Natutuwa naman po sila, pero
Basta meron.
basta
At least
meron
may
po,
nakukuha.
nakatutulong.
Magkano daw ang per family? Magkano ang data ni Senator Grace? Magkano daw ang total? Is it 3,600 for the year? Tama ba?
2,400 for this year and then for the next coming year and
Until
another.
4 for the year. So that's 200 a month.
Oo. Per month po ay 200 lang po ang inalaw. Yung total po for 12 months is 2,400. So, inano na lang po namin one time given to them because naiisip din po namin yung hirap ng pagbalik-balik kung 200 pesos lang kukunin nila.
Sen JV, with your permission, kasi nalilito na ako. Pag kunyari ikaw ay beneficiaryo ng conditional cash transfer, nakukuha mo 2,000 plus lang per year? Or meron kayong per month?
Yung UCT po ay 200 lang yung inallocate ng ating...
Yung UCT, pero yung
opo.
regular condition?
Kung conditional cash transfer po, ito ay binibigay ng... depende po. Kung may anak siyang 3,